Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first breakdown of our draft league. This is for season one. We didn't do an actual draft because schedules were messy. So instead, I decided this would probably be the easiest way to kind of break down the draft and stuff. So I got a couple people with me. I know there's a couple people that are gonna pop in for their teams and stuff to talk about their ideas, but just so everyone knows what you can look forward to. No Dynamax, Gigantamax, Megas, or Z moves for this season. Baton Pass, it's only speed or any combination other than speed. No Oko moves, Species Clause, Item Dupe, and Sleep Clause are all in effect. No Omni boosting moves. Evasion boosting is banned, other than Sandveil and Snowveil. And accuracy dropping is also banned. So Bright Powder. Specific mon rules: no Libero on Raboot. Como obviously can't use Klingris Soul. I'm assuming that's why you didn't draft it, Cyrus. I know it's always been banned for us.
No comment.
Blaziken can't use Speed Boost. Combustion can. Dugtrio cannot use Arena Trap. That's why it's tier 5. Gothitelle, Gothita, and Wobbuffet cannot use Shadow Tag. Phalanx is allowed to use the move No Retreat as long as it has no external buffs, so no Baton Pass for it. And Moody is banned because Moody sucks. So first up in the draft was Rob. He sniped at least two of our first round draft picks. I know Jake and I both said we had wanted Escadrille. So Rob, kind of want to go through your thought process on the team drafting and stuff. I know this is your first draft league.
Excadrill was literally because I knew you wanted it.
That's fucking valid. I'm a little salty about it, but it's fucking valid.
And then it's also, it's a rapid spinner, it's a stone setter.
It gets Mold Breaker, so it immediately destroys like Mimikyu and Ice-Q. Speaking of Ice-Q,
Yeah.
hello Andrew.
Hello.
Howdy.
I assume Slurpuff, kind of probably either Belly Drum or Sticky Webs.
Oh, definitely belly drum.
Galvantula is probably your Sticky Webs then.
Yeah.
Then you got Lando T. Lando T's always great, frickin' Mon.
It was a debate between them and Incineroar.
That's honestly very valid.
Is
Uh,
Incineroar, despite the fact that a lot of people kind of shit on him, his utility is amazing.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things with a lot of especially dark type users is they have that kind of nice utility. Speaking of Zoroark, obviously,
You just
I
looked
know.
over Salazzle.
Well, no, but because I had a comment on Zoroark because I've seen what
Oh,
you do in Showdown. I've
what do
seen
I do in
you
Showdown?
troll people where they just keep spamming psychic moves under your Zoroark as something that is immune to psychic moves, but you put it as something super weak. So like your Toxicroak and Salazzle getting spammed psychic moves, not realizing it's Zoroark. I've seen you do that in Showdown so many times that as soon as I drafted it, I knew you drafted it. I knew that was like a threat, and I'm like, oh, cool, sweet. I
Yeah.
hate this thing.
The best part about that too is like, oh hey, Zoroark's got flamethrower, so it's fast like Salazzle. It just starts out with flamethrower. Are you gonna guess it's Salazzle or Zoroark?
I mean, yeah. Any other comments on your other mons? Like, obviously, Tapu Fini's great mon.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
we
great tank.
only had one Tapu taken on this entire draft. Spoilers for upcoming teams and stuff. We only had one Tapu taken, so the other three are currently still up for grabs. Like even Lele is legal in this, so the fact
Yeah.
that uh, only one Tapu got taken is very interesting for me.
Oh, I went with Gorgeist because Gorgeist, if I don't start off with a uh, entry hazard setter, Gorgeist is a great starter because of its frisk, and it can leech seed.
Very valid.
And Lilligant can be special tanky because of Quiver Dance.
Mm-hmm.
then Victini's just a powerhouse.
Victini's such a powerhouse and can go so well. Who was next? Scott's team. I hate his logo so much.
It's beautiful.
There's so much hatred for this logo, but I also love the level of meme to it. So round one Obstagoon was I was very surprised to see Obstagoon go out round one. But he did get some other really good mons. I mean, Dragapult is obviously amazing. Rillaboom, Rimbombi, Durant, I know, has been so useful in past drafts for Dawn. So he got some good mons. I'm very interested to see what he does. Because we have a couple members of this that are pretty much just straight memes. Not naming anyone, you'll see them later, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, no, this is another team, like, there's a couple mons I can see, like, not being as big a problem. Like, just looking over quick, they have kind of a big weakness to Dark type. With the amount of Ghost and stuff. So, but they do have a couple mons, or they don't have a Dragon type, but they have Rimbombi. So.
They've got a Dragapult.
Or not, why did I say Dragon type? I meant a fighting type for the resistance. But yeah, otherwise, like, yeah, Dark is probably one of their biggest weakness. Probably also Fairy, because of the amount. But a lot of their stuff that's weak to Fairy is covered quickly by stuff like.
They've only got two that are weak to Fairy: Obstagoon and
Dragapult. Wasn't there another one? Drapion.
No, because...
Oh, Drapion's neutral because it's resistant because of poison. Yeah. I forget that. You're right. Jake, your team. You kind of knew immediately what you were going with round one.
Yeah, Silvally is quite possibly the one Pokemon I will use to cover any type matchup that I'm missing. Because it's every type.
Literally, it's so good for that reason.
I love that thing so much.
The fact
this
that
draft is all over the place. We went kind of with a bunch of just amalgamation of good Pokemon.
And that's sometimes how most drafts end up going, because unless you're going for a specific style, which we'll probably talk about on the next person, because I know they kind of went with a theme, like, just having good mons with some synergy is usually the best way to do things, or even coverage. Because, like, you've got the speed with Regieleki and Hawlucha, two really fast mons. You got bulkiness with Dusclops, Doublade. Yeah, obviously Volcanion, really great typing. Hitmontop for hazard removal. I believe we said Savali and
I think like 6
hazard
removals. 6 or 7 of my Pokemon in this draft can remove hazards with either Rapid Spin or Defog.
Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of good coverage.
We're covering that. I'll just say it because anyone that looks at this team will know I can't think of ground type move worth shit.
No, which is probably we're gonna talk about later. We're gonna talk about
Levitate. That is my only thing that stops me from dying to stupid Earthquake.
Unless you put a balloon on something.
I don't even have a thing that's going on a balloon.
Yeah, like Regieleki even, like, yeah, you could balloon it, but it needs that little bit more special attacker speed.
But no, so that's what we got Latios for. I'm like, I need to levitate.
Yeah, you really did. So Latios, like, even though it went last round, it was a great pickup. Let's be real.
Yeah,
it was.
I was a little jealous that you took Hawlucha on me, because that was actually my next round. I'm not mad about it, because you'll see my team later.
I lose my Mold Breaker that I thought I needed, so I need another Mold Breaker that I don't even need anymore. Because I literally don't have to fight the Mimikyu that I was worried about.
Nah. Then there's Colossal that you also kind of sniped on me, but that was a late round pick for me if I was drafting it. So I'm not too mad at Colossal.
To be fully honest, I don't know if I'm keeping it. I'll be very blunt.
That's valid.
He's here. He has some stuff he can do. But he's not the greatest.
No, he's really not. He's better in doubles.
Oh, he's 100% better than Devils. Self-proc steam engine weakness policy, and then just absolutely ruin someone's life.
Literally, it's so good. Cyrus knows, because last time we actually did Gigantamax, I went Gmax Colossal, and that thing was stupid.
G-Max Colossal is a monster.
It is an absolute monster, and I love it. But there's a reason we're not doing Gmax. No, it wasn't the next one. So, speaking of the Mimikyu, Pat, first round drafted Mimikyu immediately. Apparently, in your last draft, you were saying, Jake, that thing was a menace.
That's the only thing I couldn't beat. I lost 1 week out of this entire draft we did, and I lost to that stupid Pikachu wannabe.
He's got a lot of hazards set up with Toxapex, Ferrothorn. I believe Togedemaru as well gets spikes and Stakataka. So he's got a lot of hazards. It can be a big problem. I think his biggest issue is like he's only got a couple mons that are like really big, like heavy hitter threats, being like the Mimikyu, the Zapdos, and really the Tornadus that I can think of off the top of my head. Like those are like my biggest threats in my opinion, at least. Anyone else any thoughts on this? I know Rob, like Rotom Heat is not a threat to you because you get Mold Breaker, Escadrille, Earthquake it.
Yeah. I mean, adding to the heavy hitters, you still have Stakataka, which with a defense that's absurd.
Oh yeah, because it gets body press,
Body
right?
press.
It gets body
Yeah.
press, so you're about to take the fattest body press to the face from that thing. And Rotom Heat's still kind of terrifying. Like, Overheat's an insane move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to hit. The stab Overheat from that little oven's still going to hit you like a truck.
Oh yeah, so if you don't
Also-
have an answer, go ahead, sorry.
I'd also throw out there, Swoobat. I only know this mainly from random battles on Showdown, but Swoobat
it
getting
can be a
simple and
threat.
Calm Mind tends to be a bit of a menace at times. So.
Oh yeah. I
What's
forgot
up?
about
What's
that.
up? What's up?
What's up, Dawn?
Hello.
It is I,
So,
the
yeah,
person who drafts the same team every time.
I know. We haven't gotten to your team yet, but I was gonna comment on that.
Listen, I have a comfort zone.
We know. Speaking of the devil, Dawn.
Howdy.
So no surprise, Melmetal. One of the mons I hate you get every time. It's one of the mons I don't like dealing with.
It's a tough one.
It is tough. Like the other big threats I can see, Togekiss, Heatran. Like
I don't know how I got Heatran. Who let me get Heatran? That was so late in the draft too.
So I'm gonna talk some shit to you, Don, because I do this every single draft. You were literally drafting 50s at the end because you overbooked your front end again, like you do every time.
Well, to be fair, let's turn this into like some constructive decision making right now. I got Heatran. Oh, I gotta log into the page. I forgot.
It was round 6.
Round 6. That's so late.
It was so late. I'm turning you down quick because you're loud.
Who let me have Heatran? I'm like
I mean,
looking through the.
I
entire
didn't need
thing.
Heatran. I went Chandelure, as you guys will
You
see in a
always
little
get
bit.
Chandelure.
No, last season Jack took Chandelure on me.
Yes, that is true.
I was very
However,
upset.
I am going to tell you now. I'm going to make this a call-out post where I beat you up in front of your entire audience.
That's fine.
Every time you draft Chandelure, you run Air Balloon.
That's not true.
Pretty much, I have yet to actually see you
Choice Scarf.
run like. What about like Specs?
I've only run specs
like
if I know I
boots.
can outspeed. Spoiler alert,
Okay,
this season
fair
I
enough.
might run it. You'll see why in a little bit, guys.
I mean, we don't have to get into like specific matchmaking stuff. That's just spoilies.
I mean, it's not hard. Y'all will see my round 1 draft pick. It's easy for y'all to know what the fuck I'm doing. I kind of like
okay.
Dawn was saying how they draft the same thing. I do the same gimmicks every
Yes,
single
this
season.
is also true.
Except for the first season I did a draft league, which was not with the college, where I went exclusively hazards. But Fortress has never been available to me since.
There we go.
I miss Fortress.
Okay.
I miss him.
So this is where Okay, so everything's numbered. That makes this really easy. This is kind of how my thought process was when I was drafting, because I saw everyone before me was getting really weird niche picks, and I didn't really get why. So I saw Excadrill get taken. I was like, all right, whatever. They're really not that great, in my opinion, unless it's like Sash or if you're in a sand team. So my brain was thinking, okay, I wasn't going to pick Excadrill anyway. That's not a loss in my opinion. Really good steel type, but I can probably get one on a similar tier. I looked at like Obstagoon, I looked at Silvally, Mimikyu, still really good Pokemon, but I was shocked to see them go round 1. And when I picked Melmetal, Steel is like busted as a type in Pokemon, in my opinion. I don't think that there's maybe like Fairy
S
as
tier
a
easy,
type
yeah.
that's stupid good pretty much no matter what Pokemon you put it on.
Especially with the Fairy type being added.
Yes. And as I started looking through the rest of the Mons that were getting taken, that's when I started getting very nervous. So specifically towards the end, when I noticed where is it? Brooklyn Rest took Arcanine. And then we had Flygons took Flygon, and then Pelipper. I personally, I'll break this little bit of like mystery ahead of time. I have personally been running an OU format Specs Pelipper for like the past 2 months, and it's an incredible mon just to have for pure damage. And then, Corviknight got taken. All of these other mons that were like super bulky. I noticed that Dusted Sparks now has not only Hippo but also Stoutland.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Sam has done that build
before.
On
stream, right?
Yeah, you're good.
On stream. Okay. I'm getting the lay of the land. I started noticing Stoutland and Hippo together. I was like, oh my god, they're doing a sand team.
Oh yeah.
They're doing a sand team. I'm the sand team person. What do I do about this? So I just snagged Dracozolt to kind of just get it out of the way in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then if anybody else was kind
really
of going,
me up.
Listen, Zolt is my baby. Everyone sleeps on Zolt.
Zolt literally ran a clinic with Zolt in my last draft league.
Oh my god. I also did.
Zolt is a scary mon because it's very hard to deal with if you don't have an easy answer.
Yeah. Basically, once you get rid of everyone's ground type, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it essentially, like, to use some fighting game lingo, you're basically just doing set play the entire time until they get rid of their ground type. And then you have your win condition right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few mons that can take a Life Orb or choice, even less that can take a choice band, but a Life Orb Bolt Beak that goes first in sand. Off the top of my head, like, Clefable is like the only one that I know that doesn't resist, that can eat one hit. And you need to have no stealth rock damage or no spike damage for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that also, I'm going to cringe saying this, but I could potentially run Hustle on Zolt if I have to. Flashback to me missing like 2 Dracos in a row, and then, 2 Outrages in a row, and then losing the entire season because of it.
Yeah.
But like knowing that I can do a lot of work with the mon that I'm super comfortable with, I got them super early.
Yeah, that's where you've always been really smart. Is you draft mons you're comfortable with. The only problem is you are so light on the back end. You have to rely on your 6, so everyone always knows what you're bringing.
Who was it? I think it might have been Cyrus actually. Was it you? I think it was you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last season or the season before, I'll preface this that I was astonished with how many good mons that were really low. Like Mineshow and Sigilif, for example, were very, very affordable. And I used Choice Spec Sigilif in one of the draft leagues that we previously held. And specs with, I think it's called Wonderlands. Wonderlands, essentially, if you have a not very effective move, it gets rid of the damage reduction multiplier. So you can just have Dazzling Gleam or Psychic or even Heat Wave just slapped on Sigilif, and you get this crazy good just damage sponge where you're just throwing moves out and somebody has to come in. Either you're gonna take them on or somebody's gonna take chip.
Yep. Unless you have like an answer, which is very niche, and we'll talk about my team here in a minute. Because next, speaking of Dustin Sparks and Sand Team, they went straight fucking sand.
Oh no way! I literally popped in like just as you were about to talk about me. Then
You did.
it's insane.
Literally round 1 Hippowdon, round 2 Stoutland, Lycanroc, Heliolisk, Gigalith, like they went straight sand, and I respect it. Obviously their biggest issue is gonna be grass types, because they don't. I think their only real answer to it, other than Heliolisk having not stab fire type moves, is Escavalier with, is Steel super effective to grass? Yes, right?
Steel, I believe, resists grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it's his really only switch in.
Well, plus Escavalier is also bug type.
Yeah, so bug is resist. Yeah, so like Escavalier is kind of his answer to a grass type, but he does not have a good answer otherwise.
Yeah.
He can't really, like, if you set up a good Grassmon on him, which, let's be honest, there's not that many great Grassmons other than, like, Rillaboom.
I was about to say...
Rillaboom and Tapu Bulu are about
to... Boom.
Don't sleep on Lilligant.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lilligant actually kind of runs house here a little bit, but...
but not as much as those previous
two. Lilligant house, I'm noticing. I've never seen so much Lilligant love in one place.
It's all for me, but you know.
Yeah. But looking at his team, I think grass is going to be his biggest weakness, and he doesn't really have a good answer. Which, if this were me, I'd probably drop Jolteon and pick up a good fire type.
Well, I will also say, just to kind of interject, not only having the grass issue, but also having no Mon that is flying type.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So an Earthquake.
Having a Sand Team without being able to stop an Earthquake response is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I didn't even think about that, because I don't know why I always think Escavalier has Levitate, but it doesn't.
I always think that Reuniclus has Levitate, and it doesn't.
That too. There are a lot of Mons that feel like they should, but they don't, and those are two of them.
There are a couple Mons on this team, too, that kind of can get away with running Air Balloon. Like, off the top of my head, Tentacruel was a really good Air Balloon user. Mm-hmm. And having Rapid Spin at their disposal also helps a lot.
Oh, yeah. I think there are a couple Mons that kind of overlap on each other as well. Mm-hmm. Like Gigalith and Hippowdon. Having both kind of... Because usually one of them is your Sand Setter. Like, Hippowdon doesn't have to be the Sand Setter, but... That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. It's a funky situation, but you can do some interesting stuff.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm excited to see what Sam has in store.
It can be a really crazy mix-up also if you have both of them on the team. And that leaves you in a position where you have to figure out which one has Sand Force instead of Sand Stream.
Mm-hmm. And that is a very big issue if you aren't prepared for it.
Choice Band Hippo or Choice Band Gigalith. But Sand Force does
can deal a lot of damage. Oh, yeah.
Back when I was running Lando Eye, having Sand Force in a Sand team, I know from personal experience how really good that can be, just for adding extra percentage on top of what you're already doing.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of incarnates, hi, welcome to my team. So obviously round 1 Scolipede. If you don't know, my entire gimmick is speed boost something and watch it murder the enemy's entire team. That is literally Scolipede's entire gimmick here. It's why I drafted it round 1. Crocodile, my Moxie user. Azumarill, huge power, is amazing, but also Sap Sipper, eliminating one of its weaknesses immediately, which is another gimmick anyone who knows me knows well I like to use is immunities. Hence,
it's an incredible, especially in a draft format, just being able to have that mix-up on hand.
Mm-hmm. Like, because then I have Chandelure with Flash Fire. I now have Thundurus, which I traded Cresselia out for. That was... I went with Incarnate over Therian, because Prankster. Gudra, yet again, another Sap Sip user. In previous drafts, I've used it as an absolute goddamn tank. It can take a lot of hits. That thing is terrifying if you build it right. Maractus.
Mon where you can kind of do multiple roles with one mon. Like you
Mhm.
can have AV on it, you can have choice specs, you can run it with leftovers and put it in the rain if you want to use like hydration. There's a lot you can do.
That's why I really like having Gudra. For that reason, is I can build it a couple different ways. I built it as a attacker, and the thing is terrifying because it's already super bulky to start with, and then you start having it actually output damage. It's kind of scary. Maractus, I use it as a meme where I literally just implant it and say, "Kill me if you dare." Zatu, I love myself a magic bounce. Nahaligo has consistently been one of my favorite mons. Last draft, I could not have Nahaligo because they weren't. Or no, why couldn't I get Nahaligo? There was a reason I couldn't. I think somebody else drafted it on me. But it's one of my favorite mons. Beast Boost is so amazing. And when I get it a couple speed passes from Scolipede, it's probably gonna outspeed most things. And if I choice specs it, it's gonna deal a lot of fucking damage. And then I had Pangoro. I ended up trading it out for Lucario. I didn't have a steel type. I still wanted a fighting type, but I was like, I really need a good steel type. And I was looking at what kind of was around the same area as Pangoro, and I'm like, oh, Lucario. I think there was only like 2 other steel mons, and I did not like them. So I ended up deciding to kind of go away and get Lucario. I didn't really need the mold breaker because I was like, yeah, I fight the Mimikyu. Yeah, I gotta fight Andrew with Ice Cube later, but I'm good. I have answers outside of that, so I'm not gonna give them away. But anyone who knows some of the mods I have. Oh, and Raboot. Raboot is so goddamn good.
I was literally just about to say, like, because I heard you starting to think about whether or not you're going to get to the next person or not, and I really wanted you to talk about the Raboot pick.
I'm curious.
Raboot is... So, last season of Draft League, I used Raboot with Expert Belt. Because I can use Libero on Raboot.
Oh.
Meaning all his moves are going to be stab. With Expert Belt, he gets the boost on every move. And he gets a lot of move coverage. I think
What is the multiplier on that for Expert Belt? Is that 1.2?
Yeah, 1.2.
Yeah. For anything stab. Yeah.
That's almost a full life orb without taking chip.
Exactly. So it's like 100% worth the pickup on...
Was anything that's super effective?
It is anything super effective. I thought it was stab. Is it not stab?
No,
It's anything yeah, I think it's... I don't know.
Either way, I can still switch out to anything, get my stab boost, plus the super effective boost.
Well, the other thing, especially in a draft format that I feel like a lot of people forget about, is that there's an item clause.
Mm-hmm.
So having the ability to have a really good damage dealer with high move coverage that gives you the ability to use an item that maybe the rest of your team doesn't even want, like Expert Belt.
Mm-hmm. Where Expert Belt's not great on like a
Crocodile.
Crocodile.
With Chandelure being able to run Air Balloon or Boots to kind of get around
Some of the chip
having that
damage
item
it's going to do.
crisis.
Yeah. And like that's one of the big things. And like Maractus, I usually run Big Root on it, which is something you'd never run on any other mon. But
That's a good usage.
with it, I like to go Cotton Guard, Leech Seed, Giga Drain, Spike Shield. So it literally just sits there and tanks. And then if you get Storm Drain or what's the other? Water Absorb, it's just gonna heal itself or bump itself up to be even bigger threat if you hit it with a water type move. So, which actually used to be what I used Gastrodon for, but with Crocodile, I'm like, I don't need Gastrodon here. Crocodile's scary. I think we calced it out. Crocodile at 2 times speed from Scolipede with a choice scarf outspeeds Regieleki max speed with Choice Scarf. Right, Jake? I think.
Yes, I believe it was +2 with choice, or +2 outspeed Regieleki max speed, and then with Choice Scarf that would just inadvertently do that both of them too.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Crocodile is a goddamn threat, and I'm so glad I got him because with Moxie. Andrew. Speaking of absolute fucking memes.
Hi.
Look at this part.
I absolutely love that you do this every time. When you immediately messaged me after I posted in the Milk Cult chat about doing this, and you're like, I want to join, I'm like, thank you, God, Andrew, for joining this. I was so happy. I want you to know that.
I'm just happy to be here, Brian.
But yeah, Def Jam Fight for Kanto 3, the Vaccination EP. I mean, yeah, you always go for the meme mons. You got some really good ones, though. Like Ice Cube, obviously, gets same ability, essentially, as Mimikyu.
I have always said this since the very beginning, and I'm just going to say it again for the sake of doing so, for anybody that hasn't been in a draft with Andrew before. All of these meme picks always end up having some sort of, like, coherence somehow, and I don't know how you always do it.
Right?
I don't do it on purpose, that's for sure.
We know.
It's impressive.
Happy little accidents.
Like, Magnezone can be such a great mod. Machamp. No Guard Machamp is a fucking threat. Like, that thing is scary, actually. Palisand, I believe, gets Sand Compaction. So if it gets hit with a Water-type move, it boosts its defense. I mean, you got Ninetales with Flash Fire. Salamence is just... I mean, it's Salamence. There's a reason Palkia is weak to Salamence in Gen 3. If you don't get that joke, I'm sorry. Then
I got nothing.
Amoonguss Spore is... Or is it... No, it's Effect Spore, correct?
Among Us.
Oh,
It gets
that's
both.
more.
It has Effect Spore and Spore.
Yeah,
Got both.
that
Only a few
ability
spoilers.
is really good and is really underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like-
there's only 2 Spore users.
Yeah,
It's
that's...
Among Us and Parasect?
Morlul, Shinotic.
Yeah, because Parasect is in these games.
Oh yeah, you're right. That poor bug, rip.
But yeah, no, that is a great ability. And then Alakazam's just a good mod. Scyther, I think, is underrated. Eviolite Scyther. Dual Wing Beat.
Not even. Most people don't run Eviolite on Scyther. They
Yeah,
just
they
make
usually
it
run
3
like Band
power.
or something.
Oh yeah, very true. But you've got a lot of really great options.
Even something like Persian, where like you can just have Choice Band. What's that move? Retaliate, where it doubles your damage if
If
there's
you're coming after
mon that
kill,
died.
yeah.
Yeah.
Retaliate.
That's like classic Persian set, and it does so much damage because you're just getting the extra, plus the normal type stab, plus there's a Monded, and it doesn't have terrible base coverage to begin with, so you can always kind of just work forward towards it.
Oh yeah, 100%. But no, another great list. Yet again, like, my usual thing with drafts is either you go for a theme or you go for mods with synergy. And yet again, Andrew accidentally goes for synergy, because usually, if I'm correct, Andrew, you usually go just for mods you like.
Yes. So the only criteria I really do is I get I get mons with actual types. You know, I don't just pick a ton of grass types because I like grass types. You know, I got one of each here. It looks like somehow. I think.
I think you're pretty close.
I don't think
to
I
it.
have a fairy. But fairies are boring and they're new. And I picked the mushroom because his name was Among Us.
I respect it. I mean, I absolutely love the team name, the team. I'm always happy to have you here, Andrew, as always.
And I'm happy to be here, Brian.
Chungus, aka Alba. Obviously, anyone who's been on the channel long enough, you know Alba. Round 1 Ditto. Like, they warned me that was their plan. Was round
always
1
pick Ditto.
fucking Ditto.
I hate Ditto so much.
Alba and Ken always fought over Ditto, and I always found it funny.
I always hated hearing the argument because I hate Ditto.
I mean, that's valid.
Do you know how irritating it is to have a Sand Rush Drakazult and then have it be outsped because now they have Sand Rush?
Okay, so hint to my match with Alba, which is my week 2 match. I actually had to be absolutely terrified of Ditto. Ditto has to die before I do anything. Because if it turns into whatever...
Your speed shenanigans happens. Or even Belly Drum on Azu.
Like, I have to kill that thing, because if they choice specs it, I'm dead.
Or your Beast Boost, too. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, you
Or
can't have
choice
any
scarf?
buffs against Ditto.
Exactly, because it takes them. And then if it's faster, I'm fucked. So,
it's Choice Scarf.
like, Ditto is... Yeah, if it's choice scarfed and I'm not...
Does Imposter end up taking Flash Fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It copies any innate abilities that are currently on the Pokemon, other than like Leech Seed and that kind of thing. But Flash Fire it copies.
It's
That's
absolutely
terrifying.
terrifying. That's one of the reasons, like, Ditto, well, we're gonna meme on this fucking Pokemon, is an absolute goddamn threat. And I hate it. Because I'm like, this is a mon that has to die before I do all my shenanigans. And I like my shenanigans.
I will say also, the rest of the team is not anything to sneeze at, too.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of really underrated Pokemon on here, not only just like...
Down to
Like, obviously, Umbreon, Zeraora, Diggersby, like, those are really solid picks, but, like, Blastoise...
Snorlax,
Nobody
Gengar,
talks about
Porygon.
Blastoise. I want to talk about Articuno really quick. I think that Articuno is one of the most underrated Pokemon in draft format, period. Having Flying type, Defog, all of that's, like, support, Heal Bell, but also having Freeze Dry.
Oh my
Freeze Dry
god,
is, like,
Freeze
the
Dry's
best-
so good.
It's, like, the best move in all Pokemon, in my opinion.
I was
Having
looking.
all that offensive ice coverage, and then also not having to worry about water types whatsoever.
Can I just
I was
stay-
looking at
I'm so
water
angry.
types, actually.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but
Okay.
I was looking at water types like at some point because that like you'll see when we get to mine that I took Ludicolo, but other water types like Gastrodon really good dies to freeze dry,
Yeah,
they're just
it
like-
turned into a 4x move instead of just
Well-
nothing.
like Pelipper also dies, Ludicolo
Mhm.
also dies, and I'm just like okay, well like that's something I'm looking out for because I know it's.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know it's broken, and I was gonna finish there.
Really, really good.
I'm gonna
Even
talk
like
some
Saigon,
shit.
because It's ground type too.
I'm gonna talk some shit
Yeah.
quick over to Dawn from last season. I'm still pissed about Freeze Dry. The only reason Dawn beat me last
Was
season,
that a round 1?
that was our round 2.
Oh, you're right.
I had
Wait,
a
This is the one where I had to drop out of, right?
Yep. I had a 2x speed boost Excadrill. Iron Head locked in on Choice Band. I was going to one-shot everything else Dawn
I
had.
got the luckiest freeze on planet Earth.
Luckiest freeze in the goddamn world.
think
I was...
At the time of when I dropped out too, I was the only loss that I gave you.
Yeah, you were. I was...
So I basically showed up, said nothing, haxed you, and left.
Literally.
I was so upset too that I had to drop out because my team was banging last season.
But yeah, no, Alba has honestly a really tanky fucking team. That you have to have an answer either specially or physically for a lot of their mons.
And I'll say again, Plasma Fists.
Zeraora is...
if
It's a
you
mon
have
I've been
normal
wanting to
type, you
draft.
have to be concerned. If you don't outspeed the Zeraora and use a normal type move, you're just healing it.
Mm-hmm. It's terrifying. Alba
Even
got
other mons
another
like
great
Mawile,
team.
which aren't really super good, but they get Intimidate support.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Eldegoss
which
even.
gets Cotton Down and Rapid Spin.
And Regenerator.
It gets Regenerator.
It does.
Yeah, I guess Regenerator.
What the hell?
That was almost my pick for Grass type. But...
I don't think I have a grass type. Oh, I have Leafeon.
But yeah, no, like, honestly, great mons on Alba's team.
God, I grabbed Leafeon.
Cyrus!
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
that round 1 Arcanine.
So there's a very specific reason for that one. So I kind of decided pretty early into this draft that I was not going to pick Komodo.
I respect
For
it.
no other reason than I've used it
Whoa.
for the last 2 years straight almost, and I just want to try some new stuff.
Yeah, like two seasons per year, and you've picked it pretty much every year.
Yeah.
Every season.
So I went into this knowing that I wanted to pick. I didn't even know what dragon type I was going to pick. Honestly, I had like 3 different options, but I knew I was going to pick a really high tier steel type, and the one I may have wanted to pick got picked round 1.
Right?
So I said, all right, let's pick the one thing I know can kill it, Arcanine. Because Intimidate and Special and Flamethrower and a lot of things, it's very good. I love
You
Arcanine.
do that annoying thing where you use Burn Up and then I can't use like Earthquake or something on it.
No comment. Anyway,
That one's my least favorite. Who gave? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna interrupt you just for a second. Who gave Arcanine Teleport? Who did that?
That's the other beautiful thing. It being a Gen 1 mon, it has so many random moves it can just
loser
do.
at Game Freak gave Arcanine Teleport and then made me have to deal with it.
I love it.
I hate Teleport so much.
That is
But the other
valid.
beautiful thing about Arcanine is that all of Arcanine's abilities are amazing. But the fact that it has Intimidate and Flash Fire means I can make it immune to fire. So I'm like, okay, let me pick up Corviknight. Corviknight only has 2 weaknesses, Electric and Fire. So I'm immune to 1. I got sniped a lot in this draft. Albo sniped me so hard with Zeraora because that was going to be my 3rd round pick for my Electric immunity.
Almost
So-
sniped a lot of mods on me. I'm not gonna throw too much shade at them, but god damn, like that Umbreon round 2 pick, that was like my round 5 pick, but I'm so upset when they went round 2.
No, yeah, it happens. But yeah. So Corviknight was kind of the core I was trying to run around with this, but I don't know why I picked Milotic round 3, honestly. I should have picked Garchomp, but I think I just figured that the Flygons were going to go with Flygon, so I was pretty safe to pick Garchomp a little later. And Garchomp, I don't think I need to explain Garchomp. Garchomp's like probably one of the best Pokemon in the game, but yeah, I
Picked
don't
one of
have
the
much-
best fairy types too.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest about
Or
that.
two,
that was
actually.
That was me. Wait, I have Gardevoir.
Yeah, you have 2 great fairy
I forgot
types.
about Gardevoir. Yeah, I kind of picked Sylveon because it was the only fairy I could afford with what I knew I wanted. Not getting Zorora messed me up a lot because Zorora was the one I was expecting to be like my really fast Pokemon. So I was panicking trying to find something that would work. So I put Sylveon in as like an interim with Wish, and then I went back to Weavile as my fast guy. But yeah, after that it was quite honestly, just a bunch of filler. Xurkitree is just a massive electrical powerhouse. Beast
It's a
Boost
pretty
and like
solid move pool, honestly, too. Like,
yeah,
having a pure electric type that also gets a grass move immediately invalidates like Seismitoad, Swampert, the
Yeah.
slug that I'm forgetting the name of for some reason because I'm having a brain fart. What the
And I
hell
know-
is that thing's name?
Gastrodon.
Gastrodon. Why did I forget
yes,
that?
Obviously Z moves aren't a thing, but it doesn't have Z Hypnosis. But even like having Hypnosis and just other weird stuff like that, I'm into. Just
Mhm.
it's very fun.
Track.
No, I can't attract on Xurkitree. It doesn't have a gender.
Ah.
Pokemon's
All right,
weird.
I do have to pop a question though about Circuitry now because this is a genuine I don't actually know. Does it get Tail Grillo in this generation?
It should. I haven't checked, but
Borkin?
Yeah, that's something that needs to die.
Tail
But, I mean, I have an answer to all electric types with super fast Crocodile. He's terrifying.
nah. But what about choice? Your choice.
You guys aren't ready for Doug Trio, I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing to deal with
Trio
that.
himself.
I don't know what I'm doing with that. But
I have.
You
my
have
first
two-
store.
you actually have 2 dragon types, 2 fairy types.
Yeah.
So mad I have Doug Trio.
It's, Don, you have one person to blame for this. One.
Okay, I posted in the chat though live the reason why it happened, right?
Oh, I know. But you could fix
I
it at
was
any
using
time.
a
You,
built-in league helper to pinpoint which typings that I had, and it said that I had a ground type. And then I realized, wait a minute, why is it telling me Tyranitar is a ground type? Tyranitar is not a ground type.
it
I
is
am in
not.
like round 7 right now without a ground type.
That's not good. Ground type is so good. Speaking of ground types, Philly Flygons. Phil.
Hey, that's me.
That is you.
I
I gotta wait for my stream to catch up to where I was at, so I can actually see my team. Actually, I can pull it up, but I'm watching on my phone while I'm. But I know my first few picks anyway. So obviously I wanted Flygon, but I also had a lot of fun when I used Ludicolo in a different league. So then I was kind of like, okay, well, I really want to play around those two. And then so my first round I took Flygon, obviously, and then I took Pelipper because I wanted to set up Ludicolo, and ended up being really good because then I ended up getting Vikavolt last pick, and that I was like, it gets webs, so that's a good last pick. But then also I can just throw off like choice spec thunder, like okay,
yeah, with rain guaranteed hit, like
yeah, and that like, and that was kind of. And it gets levitate, which is another concern because I had some ground weaknesses in there, but my team ended up shaping up pretty good. I forgot I took Kabutops. Honestly, I was trying to remember all my picks, and I remembered everything but Kabutops. But yeah, so I had that plan with the water, and so I was pretty happy. And then I took Volcarona because it's just a really good fire type.
Oh yeah,
it gets Giga Drain, so water isn't as big of a weakness. Plus, but even plus I have two really good water types to bring in. So
3.
3. You're right. Yeah, I have Kabutops too.
Plus, like Volcarona, if I'm correct, it's Quiver Dance.
It also gets that. Yeah, that's it. That is its thing. I was gonna say so.
That's an entire thing.
The only thing that makes me nervous about Volcarona on this team, which I'm sure you've already probably thought about, is Volcarona on rain does kind of mitigate the amount of damage that you're allowed to do, like per turn.
Right. Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be like a one mode rain team, so like I have options for like going heavy rain against
like you have Weezing, you have Alchemy, you have Aegislash.
Weezing, Alchemy, and Grim are kind of like my. I mean, with Aegislash, it also has some defensive, but like between those three, Alchemy can just get really defensive with Acid Armor and like Calm Mind and stuff, and then just
I hate that thing so much.
Cover.
And then you just spam Drain Kiss, right? Grimmsnarl is great because I like having things to deal with sweepers, and having priority Thunder Wave is just really good.
Oh my god!
And if they have an electric type, there are really good electric types that can sweep. So it has I can set up like walls, so I can set up like reflect light.
Having Grim lets you set up any number of screens in that as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of I was trying to get a fairy type there at that point anyway because I had already had my steel and dragon for my core, so I just needed a fairy. And then I took Alchemy just because I like Alchemy as a defensive mon, and even though it's I got that poison that doubles up on poison, it's not the end of the world with Aegislash.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aegislash kind of counters that. Weezing a little bit too, so
yeah, I really like
the reason that you stayed away from Barraskewda. Because at the beginning when I saw Pelipper, I saw Ludicolo, I was like, all right, I'm seeing a pattern in which direction we're going in.
I tried, so I did want to go rain, but I didn't want to go too heavy, and so Kabutops was kind of like I threw it in as a secondary option because I was getting low on points and I was kind of trying to play around with it, and I wanted a rock type anyway, so I could have gone Barraskewda, but it would have been, I think Barraskewda is quite a bit of points, so it was kind of like choosing. And I really liked Conk because Conkeldurr it has answers to all the things that can challenge it. It gets Poison Jab, it gets Thunder and Ice Punch, so you're not really safe to bring in anything if you're not careful. So
that's kind of another example of what Cyrus was also saying about Arcanine. Is just like Conkeldurr has no bad abilities.
Yeah, all its abilities is great. So, but I really liked Weezing when I found that because I've used Weezing before, and I really like he's really defensive, and it's another haze, a haze user, which is always good when setup Pokemon.
Oh my god, because for real.
And it also has levitate, so it has one weakness, Psychic, so it's definitely good defensively, especially physically. So.
Well, plus you get Pain Split and a bunch of other stuff like Will-O-Wisp just for support in general.
Right, exactly. That's kind of where I was looking. I was like, I've got some really good heavy hitters. I've got some defensive things, but I really want something really good physically defensive and can like haze and stuff. So that was kind of where I was at that point. I was looking at Toga tomorrow at one point just because I like I mean you can do its abilities are pretty good all around but then I was like, Vikavolt still available. I can get webs off it, and with Thunder, that thing hits so hard. Like I can't remember what special attack is, but it's something ridiculous.
145, if I recall.
Yeah, it's just its speed is shit. But like
it only has like 40 speed.
Right, and so
you get it already pre-set up, you're good.
However, what I will say is that you are able to use it with the caveat of super slow mon that has Volt Switch.
Yeah.
You're now taking that hit and letting somebody else come in and just do whatever damage that you need to do.
Right, and I have a lot of
Pokemon like Flygon or like Aegislash, which like yes they have a generous amount of bulk, but you really don't want to be getting hit twice.
Yeah, you want to get them in like in beneficial situations where like you could set up and just kind of take over the game with those Pokemon. Like I've won game 6-0 with Flygon before, so it's like getting in because I mean Flygon I also like just because it has its special attack actually isn't bad where you can actually use it. So like if people are expecting physical, they bring their physical wall. I could be special, so it's like I've done that before because it gets good coverage and stuff in both. So, but I'm super excited to use Pelipper. I mean I know Dawn, you were saying that you've used Pelipper but yes. it gets U-turn too, so like good momentum.
Kind of the same thing that we were talking about with Vikavolt, where just you're able to sack that hit. Pelipper, of course, having the advantage of having Roost as well. So
yeah,
but it definitely has more than one mode, which allows you to not get locked into a corner when you have that on your team.
Yeah, I can go more offensive, or I can go. It could be my defog user sometimes. I mean, I got.
And also, I don't want to give you any ideas because it's dangerous, but I do like Pelipper, so I'll talk about the funny bird. It does end up getting Weather Ball. So you could, in theory, just throw a rock at somebody in sand as a Pelipper.
You could, yeah.
Burn up somebody in sun if they have Torkoal or Ninetales or something.
True. That is an option.
I find that Weather Ball users in draft have an unreasonable amount of utility.
Yeah, I mean, and it. I really like Pelipper from what I've used of Pelipper, so I'm excited for that core of Ludicolo and Pelipper together because I can just U-turn out and then into Ludicolo and it has good move coverage generally with Ludicolo. So, and I can always go a more bulky Ludicolo too, just because it gets rain dish and I can go Leech Seed kind of thing.
It kind of.
I don't have to go speed on it, but
you don't gotta go fast. Since he hopped in, let's hop back up to the Nightmare Mambo. Pat, you want to talk a little bit about your draft?
My draft was a little bit more Bull City. Honestly, I was mostly just trying to go for like good setup Pokemon. Like at first, I went for Mimikyu just because of Sitting for the very first time. I actually played a draft. That was the first Pokemon I also went over that I went for. From there, I believe the next one I picked was Ferrothorn, just because he's a good one for like bullshitting, especially if there's anybody that is physical. Like you have to hit him with either a fighting type or a fire. Like fire type will just kill him outright, no matter what.
But you're gonna get that chip back.
I can confirm that Ferrothorn is very annoying as somebody that plays with the Dracozolt. Like I basically just have to pick Fire Blast to check that, or else I just don't do anything with that Pokemon. And then I have an 85% accuracy move, and I cry.
Yep. And even for that and everything like that, that's why I also went for the Rotom Heat, just because I needed somebody that would be able to counter having that, and also the Milk Tank, because there's the chance of using Milk that if I Sick that if I need to.
Yeah, you got some great mons I was talking about earlier. You have a lot of setup. Like, there's only a couple mons, like, when I was talking about it, that are, like, big threats that you're like, shit, this needs to be dealt with immediately. Obviously, the Mimikyu's a big one. Rotom Heat can be a big problem for most people. I mean, Zapdos, I know you and I talked about it the other day, Pat. That thing can be annoying as shit is how I'm gonna put it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you got a lot of really good like setup mons. It's like utility wise, I think you're pretty good. Is what I'm gonna
Utility wise, I think, especially one of the ones that it seems probably a little bit more unconventional. It's the what's the name of the bat? I'm trying to find it right now.
Woobat.
Oh yeah, that was round 3 Swoobat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, round 3 I went for Swoobat. I've been seeing a lot of interesting stuff for him, and then I tried it out myself. He can actually be really good if you are if you have the right setup for him. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go into too much detail about it, but just the fact that he has either simple or he has unaware makes him really good.
Yeah, you have to figure that out in the game. Like it's pretty hard to just kind of logic that out without it just showing up.
Yeah, and then Pat actually is the reason I had to bring up the hidden powers ordeal, because he had hidden power on to Miltank, if I'm correct.
Oh no, Rotom.
Was it Rotom? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You had
Like
return
Hades or something.
on Miltank. That's what it was.
Yep.
Return and
Well-
hidden power. So.
Well, I fucked up when I was actually setting up the Pokemon on the Showdown draft, because when the person said the Galar National Dex, I was looking through the thing because I didn't go through the link that you gave me, and I was like, there's nothing that says that specifically, so what the fuck? So I just went for
The national
one of
decks.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for the National. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets confusing sometimes because the draft server that we use is separate from the main Smogon servers. So that way you can use like the exclusionary stuff. Like you can still use Libero on Raboot, but you can't use Libero on Cinderace, or you can still use like the Landorus Eye that I used, for example, last time, as long as it didn't have the specific ability.
Yeah, I think it had to be Sandforce.
Which I wasn't gonna complain about that.
No, it's a great move if you get the Sand Team. But yeah, no, that's one of the things, and that's why I tried to make sure I had the link out, because obviously we have a lot of new people joining us for the first time, so I wanted to make sure everyone kind of had the link. But yeah, so that's the draft, guys. I'm very excited to see how this goes. Matches start technically tomorrow for everyone but this guy, because I got a bye the first week, because of fucking course I
What
did.
is this?
I'm not
Timo
happy.
gets a bye first week. What is it?
Rigged.
Do what's even worse? No, you want to talk about rigged? The first time I randomized the draft order, I was first. No, Don, you're gonna be mad. You were second.
What?
Yeah, when
You're trying to tell me you gave me dead middle of the snake
I re-rolled it.
because you felt bad?
Y'all would have questioned me being first. Tell me I'm wrong. Exactly.
Yeah, I think I would have. I would have accepted.
I was 11th. I could go wherever.
The last. That was interesting, actually.
Give me
Playing
one
at the end of the snake.
Playing the end of the snake is always weird. But
I
yeah,
will say that one of the biggest things that I'm kind of concerned about is like, I don't have a whole lot of priority. Like I have like Manchao with like Fake Out, and I think Leafeon gets Quick Attack, but like I'm never gonna do that.
no.
Dugtrio gets like Sucker Punch. But like other than that, if I get outsped, I'm kind of in a bad way.
Yeah.
Unless I decide to do some like stupid shit and like
Trick Room.
bust out the extreme speed Togekiss.
No, Trick Room shit.
yeah.
Trick Room shenanigans. I love
I hate
Trick
that-
Room.
I don't think anybody on my team gets Trick Room.
I don't think so either. It was
I'm
more
about
of
to
a
find
joke.
out right now though.
Sigilif, maybe.
Oh, does it?
Not sure.
I
Why?
don't,
I don't
think
know.
Siggy gets it.
I've never thought to use it because he's actually pretty fast, but
Yeah, no, that
Oh,
is
right now.
that is one of the funny things is there's
Oh, he
not
does get
anybody
it. What the hey?
there's not anybody that really would even has like a slow enough team other than, no offense Pat, maybe you, that would make a Trick Room worth it.
Reminder that Stack Attack is like the dummiest slow ever, and also gets Trick Room just in its move pool.
And gyro ball.
You know, you can kind of do.
Oh,
that.
I know
Punch
Stack
and
Attack against Gyro Ball. I was looking at that. It's stupid.
Yep.
That and maybe
I love
Alba's
Gyro
team.
Ball.
Alba's team with minus Zero Aura is actually pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
So with Trick Room,
Porygon Z and Gengar are like the only other ones.
yeah, but like the rest of the team is really
Even
slow.
Blastoise, like after a Shell Smash, is like
Well,
pretty
that's
slow
after
still.
that's after
Even
a Shell
after
Smash.
Shell Smash is pretty slow.
So like that with a Trick Room could be really scary, especially like if you decide to go negative speed on Ditto, and then Trick Room switch in on it. That could be really problematic.
That would be
Iron Ball
annoying
Ditto.
as hell.
It was
Yeah.
just a really good catch-all.
Is
Yeah.
Iron Ball actually a speed multiplier, or is that just turn order?
I'm not sure. I know.
I wanna
it
say
it's
usually-
turn
because
order.
lagging tail is turn order. I thought Iron Ball was a speed reducer.
I
but
love
haven't checked.
Switcheroo lagging tail so much.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
my
like the
favorite.
first meme build that I ever did.
It's
Or is
valid.
Still
I forgot
proud
his
of it.
Grimmsnarl, but Grimmsnarl was
So
great
fun.
with that.
That was one of the things with Grimmsnarl. Was just like really nice having Trick on
Grimmsnarl
priority.
is such a good mon to just, especially at its point value of being like kind of in the middle of the road, just being
Mhm.
able to put that on any team at all. And it
Yeah,
works.
that was a great fairy type for me. I was really happy to get that where I did.
Well, so my thought process on getting rid of Cresselia, I don't really know how to use Cresselia, so I was like, I don't know if I want to keep this mon.
Cresselia's weird.
It is exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was looking through, and I'm like, I don't really have an electric type because I don't. So I was like, do you know what? Let's go for Thundurus. Gives me an electric type. I also get another flying type, and Prankster's a really good ability. As long as I
This is
remember not to
Yeah, this
use
is
it
true.
on dark types. I don't want to
Prankster
talk
is
about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I keep forgetting of that. I keep forgetting Prankster can't be used on Dark type since Gen 7.
Yeah, that was actually my issue trying to do it with Lipard. I think was it last season or the season before? I think it was the season before. I was using Lipard Trickster, and it's such a menace
Speaking
of a mon.
item shenanigans. I'm hoping that we don't get another ring target on a psychic type situation again this season.
Don't want to talk about it.
I mean,
Rings are again for that exact
red
reason.
card.
It was really funny.
Red card is such a fun item. I don't think enough people use.
Red card is great. And
Which
it
was
was
annoying.
eject button's the reverse, right?
Shout
Eject
out-
button sends you out.
Yeah.
Shout
Red
out
card
to
sends them out.
Trick, eject button, Dynamax.
Ah.
Gonna bring that back one day.
Maybe
Yeah,
someday
let's-
we'll Gigantamax. Maybe.
That's really funny.
Only person that was able to pull that one off. God, that was so fun.
Yeah, because I believe you did it to Will.
No, I did it to, I might have also done it to Will. I think I did it to... You wanna know, actually, I did it to Sheik, and we were in person, in a room with like 4 other people.
I remember this. I was there.
And their face just like hit the floor, and they were just like, I've been humiliated in front of my peers.
Yes.
Which, you know what? GG's.
But otherwise, for those of you watching this afterwards, you can tune in every other week. The replay should be posted up Wednesday, the week after all the matches happen, is the plan. So we'll see how that goes. The first week, yet again, starts tomorrow, guys. Hopefully everybody's excited. I am very excited to see how this goes. Having a bye week one is going to be fun because that means I get to watch everybody else's matches. So pretty dope.
Brian's gonna be in the corner of the room like Kabuto, just writing down in his ninja book. Taking
I hate
notes
that you
on all
made.
of you
I hate
points.
that you made a Naruto reference. Why couldn't you make a My
No, you
Hero
don't.
reference? Just
No,
call
you don't. You,
call me
you hate that I
Izuku.
made a Naruto reference that's accurate.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's
I
what's
God.
making you angry.
You're
It could be a Pokemon reference.
It
It is
could be.
Kabuto.
I mean, by that standard, it could also be a. God, there was
Now I
one.
just want to see. I
Go.
want to see like the little tiny like rock bug with like the anime fit on.
Honestly, I kind of want to see it. But otherwise, yeah, guys, thank you all our coaches that came by, talked about their teams, helped me do a little breakdown. best of luck to everybody. We'll see how this season goes. This season should be really good. I'm very excited to see where this goes. And more importantly, I'm excited to see what happens next. I know there's a couple people who didn't get to come this season that are interested for next season. Spoilers, one of them is Jack Bob from previous ones. Nathaniel Ahart is planning to join, and a couple other friends of mine that are possibly joining for the next season. So we'll see. I'm excited to see a lot more people from past drafts come back and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. And I'll see you guys Monday. Yes, Monday. Cameron and I are doing Black and White Nuzlocke. Night, everybody.